Welcome back, everyone, to the Abundance Formula podcast and happy fall, you guys. This is the very first weekend of fall. It launched yesterday officially. I'm so excited. Can't wait for this next holiday season and just to close out the year, you guys. Close out the year strong. I was taking inventory the other day because it's really easy to, of course, in the beginning of the year, keep track of, okay, here's the things I want to achieve. These are the things I want to do and start going in order and being on that. But then you get through the midway of the year, especially in the summer, and you can kind of lose track of like, what was I trying to do again? And so I really like to touch base again at this time of year when we basically had just yesterday, I think it was like 100 days till the end of the year or to the start of the new year, and just kind of take inventory of, okay, where am I at in the things I really wanted to achieve? What do I want to finish this year out strong? Like, how would I feel like most successful if at the end of the year, what would make me feel so good with how I closed the year out if I could get XYZ done or show up in XYZ way? So I like to kind of retake inventory specifically at this time of year when fall launches, because it's that final sprint to the finish line of the year. And I like to try to finish feeling really good about what I have done. And if I don't take inventory, then I get off track and I forget that there were even some things on my list that I still wanted to complete before the end of the year, and I just forgot to focus on it. So get back intentional, you guys. Check back in with the things you wanted to get done this year and see where you're at on those and what things you could maybe squeak in before the end of the year, and then set yourself up for next year. So quick announcement. I have a fall flash sale actually that's going until Monday night, tomorrow night at midnight, for you to join if you want to train in person with me. I'll also be doing an online training sale in a little bit, but this one's for in-person training through Monday night at midnight. Shoot me a message if you want to chat about where I'm located, if our schedules work together. I also do Zoom online training as well, so we can do that. If you don't live near me but want to train with me in person for that level of accountability, you'll be getting obviously the in-person training, so customized workout plan and regimen, custom nutrition plan, custom cardio recommendations for what your goal is. Of course, the weekly follow-ups with me for accountability. We do monthly progress pictures and measurements. So that plus mindset coaching, of course, because as you know me, that's all part of this whole fitness journey to create success, what we're looking for. So that, and then I'm also throwing in, you can pick one of my 2 ebooks for free. They're both 6-week ebook programs. One is called Strong Legs, the other is called Strong Glutes. And so you can pick which of those and get that for free as well. So the sale is that you can buy at least a 12-pack of in-person training, whether that's for 30 minutes or 60 minutes, and get $100 off plus the free ebook. So shoot us a message at oldhamstrong@gmail.com or reach out to me on Instagram at Jeana, Jeana _Oldham, and ask me about it. We can chat back and forth. And of course, the larger the pack of training sessions you buy, the bigger the discount. So I'm definitely working with people already on 28 packs and anything in between. So just let me know if you kind of want something that's in between there, but at least 12 is the minimum for this flash sale to get the base $100 off and the free ebook. So that's my launch into fall, because again, I said this on my stories yesterday, but like if there's any time for a trainer, it's as soon as fall launches, because that's when people go downhill. As soon as fall starts, that's when all the festivities begin, all the, pumpkin spice lattes and all of that stuff. And if you don't know how to manage your health and fitness through the holiday season and the busyness and the bustle and the parties and all the things, that's when people gain their 5 to 20 pounds and feel like crap at the start of the new year and start this whole hamster wheel of like having to lose weight and get back in shape and feel good in your own skin and not feel yuck anymore. Don't start your year off that way anymore, you guys. It's so common. That's why the gyms get busted full in January. And the problem is people crash course it from January to summer, and then they get busy and unintentional in their fitness and health, and then they crash course it downhill until the new year starts again, and you start right back where you started. So don't do that. So if you need somebody to help coach you along, I'm here and doing this sale in honor of your health journey and the awesomeness of fall and the holidays coming up. So throwing that out there. So if you want to take advantage of that. But today's topic, I want to talk about healing in order to embrace abundant living. So in life, as we all know, there's going to be pains. We're going to get hurt. And in order to be able to live fully and experience joy and get back on track with our life and reach our highest potential, we are going to have to learn to heal. We're going to have to embrace this healing process. And there's two different types of healing, but today I'm going to talk about a specific one. So there's a healing involved from like a sadness type of thing, whether that's death or loss of some kind. There's a healing journey that's associated with that. And there is some letting goes associated with that. But the healing I want to talk about today is people who are holding on to bitterness or holding on to anger or are holding on to the hurt of something that happened to them. That kind of healing really lingers in a way that, man, we don't realize how bad the negative effects of that is. And what spurred me to want to dive into this topic today is I'm reading this excellent book that I've posted in my stories that my mom got me for my birthday by T.D. Jakes. Y'all know I'm obsessed with him. It's called Crushing. God Turns Pressure into Power. But so one of the quotes that started one of his chapters is this quote by Nelson Mandela. And I was like, oh man, got to do a podcast topic on this. So the quote says, "As I walked out the door toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison." I was like, man, that is just so good. And you guys, it is so true. And I know you hear it all the time, but yet we still hang on to these things. Like you hang on to the fact that like the person or the situation or the thing that hurt you that you're holding on to, that's still dragging you down like a ball and chain, this baggage you're dragging behind you. Those people don't care. Like they aren't thinking about it as much as you're thinking about it. You're the only one that's left hurting. You're the only one left you're just holding yourself back. It's not taking any extra stab at them. It's not bringing any equal playing field. It's just hurting you. And so we hear that all the time, but yet we still stay in prison and we just hold on to it. So I want to dive into the way to embrace abundant living and to be able to receive abundant living is you're going to have to let go of those things. And so I like to think of, and I talked about this when I spoke at the women's retreat in Belize in January. We were talking about, okay, creating this new identity that you want to uplevel your life and create the things that you want and manifest the things you want in your life. And so we talked about and we were talking about influence as well. And so I was saying how, the ability for you to reach your full capacity for influence is only going to happen when you can release these negative feelings that you've pent up from past things that have hurt you, whether that's anger, whether that's sadness or bitterness. It's filling up this cup that you have. We all have a cup and it can literally only be so full. And so God wants to fill your cup, but he can't fill something that's already full. So if you're filled up in your heart and your mind and your soul and your energy of all this bitterness, there's not room for more. So you can be hoping and praying and striving for more success, more happiness, more love, like all these things, and you will not be able to get it to the capacity you're meant to if you're hanging on to these past hurts, to these past pains, and not letting them heal. And I specifically wanted to dive into this side of the healing process because this side of healing requires, the key to it is forgiveness. And I love this other quote from this awesome book that I know I've talked about before that's called You Are a Badass by Jen. I don't know how you say her last name, but I think it's Jen Cicero, I don't know. But the book is You Are a Badass. And the quote, she talks about forgiveness and how you can move on with your life so that you can achieve and you can have all the things you want, despite what's happened to you, despite when you've been screwed over, despite that you may have all these reasons why you shouldn't be able to go do the thing you want to do. But it's ultimately up to you. It is a choice to stay held back. It's not those other people's fault if you're held back. It's your fault, ultimately, if you choose to stay in the hurt. So she talks about forgiveness in this way and says, forgiveness is putting your desire for happiness and abundance before your desire to be right. We must take responsibility for our own happiness instead of pretending it's in someone else's hands. That one hit me hard because that's my biggest issue. When I feel hurt, when I'm hanging on to anger or I'm hanging on to bitterness, I want the other person to know. Everybody always says you would have been a good lawyer, Jeana, because I'm into here's the proof. Here is why I was correct. Here's why I wasn't wrong. Here's why there's no reason this should be happening to me. Here's all, I want just them to know. And so oftentimes, especially the worst things in life that happen to us, you're not going to be able to change that other person's mind. Or you may try, and if the relationship's outgrown where you're going in your life and it needs to just end, they're not going to care if you were right. And so you can't control the other person or the circumstance. You can just control your response to it. And at the end of the day, that is what we need to choose is you forgive for you. you don't even forgive necessarily for the other person, but you forgive for you, because again, it's not hurting them for you to hold your life back. It's hurting you, and it's hurting the people you were meant to impact. It's lessening who you were called to be, not who they were called to be, you know? And so think about that. That hit me hard when I read that book, because that is so often, and for me, this is the other thing. So we're talking using that cup analogy. So if we picture your, your life and you physically as this like a styrofoam cup that's filled with water, and the water is your energy. Like, we only have so much energy to put out in the day to accomplish the things that we want to do and to have the kind of relationships we want to have. And so holding on to this bitterness and anger, like, that's stuff that recycles through your brain. I know when I've been in like modes where somebody hurt me and I'm in kind of that phase where trying to heal through, like, my mind wants to re-rehearse these arguments or what I would say to that person and how I'd prove to them that I was right and how all the things I rehearse it over and over. And when that bitterness and anger and all of that keeps recycling your mind, that's just a pinhole to your styrofoam cup, pokes holes in that cup, and then water, your energy is just drained out. You are draining yourself of the energy to go create impact by letting these thoughts stay and live and be fed in your heart and in your mind. And again, that doesn't hurt anybody else. That hurt you, it hurts you. So we have to find a way to forgive for us. And this other thing, like, I know I've talked to some other people about this, but like, forgiveness, a big topic around forgiveness comes down to also, you do it for you so that you can be free. Like Nelson Mandela said, like, don't stay in this prison despite the fact you should be free. So that part. But people are like, well, they don't deserve it. They don't deserve, because some of these people maybe in your life or circumstance you may have to see again and be around and be kind to. You can choose to be kind to them. You can choose to be so kind that nobody would ever know that something happened or that they hurt you. And they're like, well, they don't deserve that. I want to somehow like even mildly hurt them back by giving them a cold shoulder or just not even talking to them when I see them or what it may be. But what I like to say is, do the right thing or be a good person because that's who you are. It's never about who someone else is. And especially if you believe in Christ, like, it's not about who we are, we would be lost, It is about who we are, and that I'm the kind of person that despite you hurting me, I will have boundaries, but I'm going to still be kind to you. And I'm not going to make you feel like an outcast. And I'm not going to smear your name around the town. And why? Not because you don't deserve that, because that's not who I am. I'm not that person. I'm the kind of person that's just going to forgive you, and I'm going to move forward and excel in my life and wish you the best because that's who I am. Again, it is not because I've learned through a lot of the traumas I've had to heal through in my life, to do that and embrace it fully. Because when you feel that in your heart, truly, that's when you can really tap into some next level abundance and success, is when you really do want it for them because that's who you are, not because they deserve it. I was cheated on long ago in a really terrible way, and by some of the people that I trusted most. And it was my natural instinct to be like, okay, screw love. If this could happen with these people who I trusted the most in life, like, there's nobody that's safe. Like, I'm never going to, like, this is ridiculous. I'm just going to live on my own and excel by myself. And that was, of course, my hurt story. But then luckily I quickly realized, like, again, to do that would just hurt me. To like, why am I going to, like, I didn't cause the thing. So like, why am I now going to lose finding that potential person that God has for me? Why am I going to lose out on creating this family that I've always wanted? Why am I going to lose out on these future memories with my children and my husband and these things that I've always wanted because of somebody else's problems, by somebody else's hurt, somebody else's brokenness? I'm not going to let somebody else's brokenness break me. And when I truly, and of course it took time, this obviously any circumstance, there is time where my prayer was, Lord, I know I'm going to forgive these people. But in the beginning, it's also like, I'm not feeling it fully, but I know I'm going to, it's through you that I'm doing this. But eventually just saying that prayer over and over, I forgive these people. I wish them the best in their life. And eventually I really felt that, and I wanted the best for them. And when I had to interact, like, I really wanted the best for those people. And again, that didn't mean I didn't have boundaries, but I really wanted the best for them. And as I truly wanted the best for them, because that's who I am to my core, that's when all the good, literally, like, maybe it was a month after I fully embraced the true forgiveness behind it and wanted it for these people and was happy. That's when Kellen came along. And it was like perfect timing, and it wasn't by coincidence. And so I had finally found a way in my soul to, you do things in life no matter what we're talking about. Being good to other humans, no matter if they deserve it or not, you do it because it's who you are. So the big thing, who do you want to be? So everything we talk about in this podcast is creating your dream life, creating the reality you want, creating the abundant life in the different categories of life that are important to you, the life that you want. And all of that starts with, who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? What's your identity? What's your non-negotiables as far as your foundational beliefs and truths and standards and values that you live by? And everything else should cascade from there. You do it, whatever it is that you do, because that's who you are. And so much of life is out of our control, but what you can control your own self and how you respond to circumstances, and if you let them change you and your future, or if you will change that circumstance and you will control your future. So I just wanted to kind of hit on that topic today because I thought that was so huge. I know so many people just are living in their own prison, and it's a prison they've created for themselves and they don't even realize it. And there's so much power found when you tap back into how much power you have to get out of that prison. Like, you are free. You have every capacity to be free right now. You can be sitting in your life right now feeling totally imprisoned, but it's something you could get out of at any moment. At any moment that you choose to say, you know what, I'm going to let go of this bitterness. I'm going to let go of this anger, not because they deserve it, but it's because who I am and who I want to be, and the kind of person that has the life that I'm wanting to make. That's how she would think, and that's how she would feel, and that's how she would address this obstacle. And I'm going to live like her now and be that and embody that now. And I'll have what she has in the future. I'll have the love that she has in the future. I'll have the success. I'll have the happiness if I can embody that now. So take some inventory in your life and, see kind of, look at the things you've been holding on to. Has it been holding you back? Has it served you at all? What could you let go of and actually move forward in life? So just wanted to kind of go over that today and let you take a mental check as to where you're at. And if there's some things that you've been holding on to that are poking holes in your cup, draining of you, of your energy, of your creativity, of your fulfillment, and how can you start letting those go so you can finally be free? So if you've enjoyed this podcast episode, I appreciate you for listening. Share with a friend if you think they could use it, if they could need it. Share it on your social media. And if you do, tag me so that I can reshare you and thank you. And I'll catch you next week, guys. Happy fall.